Hello, welcome to the session. My name is Martin Kurzweil from Ithaka S+R, along with my colleagues Chris Buonocore from Lehman College and Pooja Vora, also from Ithaka S+R. We're here to talk to you today about a project we've been working on in collaboration to access system data and analyze it and use it in various ways to help students, advisors, and institutional and system leaders improve credit articulation. We call it Sunshine because it's about shedding light on what previously had been pretty opaque. We have a simple agenda today. I'll be starting out by sharing some background information about the motivations for the project and the project itself. And then I'll turn it over to first Pooja and then Chris to talk about some of our major work streams on the project. First, some background about the City University of New York, or CUNY. CUNY is New York City's public university system, and it includes 20 undergraduate colleges across all 5 boroughs, a mix of both primarily associates serving programs and primarily bachelor's serving programs. And it's a very large system. There are over 240,000 undergraduates in the system. There's also a lot of transfer within the CUNY system. So each year, about 20,000 students transfer from one CUNY college to another. And over 50% of bachelor's degree recipients from CUNY colleges are transfers. Our project, which we call the Articulation of Credit Transfer Project, or ACT, is motivated by a challenge that not only impacts students at CUNY, but really impacts students all over the country. So there are numerous sources for this, but all of them are pretty consistent in finding that over 80% of first-year community college students aspire to earn a bachelor's degree. For most of them, they can't do that at the community college at which they start. They don't offer those degrees, so they have to transfer. But within 6 years, no more than 17% have earned a bachelor's degree, which is a pretty big fall off. One reason for that is that often credits that students transfer from their initial institution or institutions to their destination institution don't count towards the new degree. And that's a major barrier. As many as 43% of transferred credits don't count, and students who lose a lot of their transfer credits are far less likely to graduate. It's a huge, huge problem. The ACT solution is innovative in various ways. So first, it's a collaborative and iterative project. We have a team of folks, researchers, CUNY, college, and university administrators and faculty who are working together to unearth credit transfer information, making it transparent, accessible, and actionable by various constituents. We've created public resources, we've created advising tools, and we've conducted analysis that has led to administrative policy changes, all of which are intended to help CUNY transfer students count all of their transfer credits towards their new credential. The ACT structure is important to reflect on. So first, it's important to note that ACT is one of several current projects at CUNY that are focused on associates to bachelor's transfer. We call that set of projects A to B. ACT is primarily an implementation project. Most of the others are primarily research projects. ACT is managed by representatives from 3 organizations, Ithaka S+R, my organization, as well as Lehman College, where Chris works, and other folks within the City University of New York. We're funded by 2 foundations, the Heckscher Foundation for Children and the Carolyn Milton Petrie Foundation. Now, what are we doing within ACT? As I said, it's been iterative and we've developed a number of different work streams over time, and those work streams have evolved. So first, we've developed a public resource called Transfer Explorer which displays all of the course equivalencies for any combination of CUNY colleges, and also includes a number of other features, including information about program requirements. Chris will be talking a lot more about that later. A second work stream focuses on archiving CUNY's degree audit data so that we can analyze the data and understand changes as they happen in real time and in the aggregate. Pooja is going to be talking more about that. Now, Transfer Explorer, as I mentioned, includes some information about program requirements, but we've extracted program requirements from the degree audit software in a way that makes it usable for a variety of other purposes as well. We have several other projects underway that we won't go into a lot more detail about, but it's worth mentioning them. First, we have a transfer intention survey administered by the community colleges that are working with us. And that is a periodic survey that students are asked to complete to share just a bit of information about whether they plan to transfer, if so, where, and in what program. And that information is then used by advisors at the community college to help the students shape their course trajectory to maximize the courses that transfer. Another project underway is tracking the time it takes to get to each step in the transfer process, from application to admission to credit evaluation, matriculation, and so on. And so we're able to say with specificity how long it takes each college in the CUNY system to get through each of those steps, which is very powerful information for students and for the institution themselves. They know where they need to become more efficient. Finally, we have an active community of practice among the 7 CUNY colleges that we're working with on the project, which are listed on the right side of this slide. So these colleges, representatives from these colleges, meet regularly to surface new ideas, to test and offer feedback on the various tools, and to identify ways to better disseminate and utilize those tools, not just in their own institutions, but across CUNY. So at this point, I'm going to hand things over to Pooja first, and later Chris, to talk about the first 3 items in this list of focus areas. Over to you, Pooja.
Thanks, Martin. So as Martin mentioned, I will be talking a little bit more about one of our main work streams, DegreeWorks archiving. I'll talk a little bit about the overview and then go into its findings. So what is DegreeWorks archiving? Well, it's an automated process where CUNY's degree audit software called DegreeWorks archives data on a daily basis for students who transfer from one ACT institution to another. And these are students that are transferring between the CUNY institutions that are participating in the ACT project. This allows us an opportunity to observe and analyze changes in these students' transferred courses that count or don't count toward their degree programs at the transfer college. And why is this important? Well, before this type of work, there really was no way to know with accuracy the number of credits that were not counting towards a student's degree following their transfer. And this is because DegreeWorks overwrites each student's degree audit data every time there's a change. So there's no way to know how a student's record is changing. And with this type of work, we can now see a minute-by-minute change in the student's record to allow us to analyze these degree applicability changes. So stepping back a little, I want to talk about what fall-through course is and how we define them. We define a fall-through course as a course on a student's transcript that does not fulfill the general education, major, minor, or total credits degree requirements of the program that they're pursuing. There's really 2 reasons why a course can become a fall-through course. One is because it's over the limit, and that's if the receiving college, which is a student's transfer college, places a limit on the number of transfer credits that can be applied to the student's degree or program requirements. The second is the course could be categorized as overflow if the student exceeds the number of free electives designated for their degree program. So while they do have the possibility of counting the courses for major or minor requirements, or even for elective or general education credit, any credits over 60, which is approximately what's needed for an associate's degree, and 120, which is the approximate amount of credits needed for a bachelor's degree, anything over that will always be in the overflow category. So the graph on your right-hand side shows you the size of the archive cohorts by academic semester. A little bit about the students that were included in this analysis. They were direct transfers from a ACT community college to an ACT bachelor's college. However, this did not include students who already had a bachelor's degree at the ACT community college, and also did not include non-degree students. Also, these students were enrolled at an ACT bachelor's college as of the term census date. So the first thing that DegreeWorks archiving allows us to do is analyze a aggregate level of student transfer outcomes. And so this aggregate level analysis allows us to assess how many students transferred courses count towards their degree program at the new institution. So by doing this over time, we can assess positive or negative changes and patterns within or across institutions to inform improvements in administrative policies or procedures. So on the graph to your left shows you the percentage of transfer students at Lehman College with at least one course in fall through by term and sending college. The dark blue graphs represent students transferring from Hostos to Lehman, and the light blue bars represent students transferring from BCC to Lehman. So one thing our analysis showed us was the share of students transferring from Hostos to Lehman with those who had at least one transfer course in fall through declined from 42% for the fall 2019 cohort to 28% for the fall 2021 cohort. We saw a similar decline for students transferring from BCC to Lehman. The share of students with at least one fall through course for that transfer declined from 29% in the fall of 2020 to 21% for the fall 2021 cohort. The second type of analysis we were able to observe was more course level analysis. So this type of analysis, it allows us to examine the ways that transfer affects the degree applicability of different courses under different circumstances. Two things I want to highlight. The first is we were able to observe barriers transfer students face that could be alleviated through changes in policy or advising practices. An example of this would be the Anatomy and Physiology 2 course. So many students either don't pursue nursing at the transfer school, A, because they decide to change their major, or two, because they might not have been accepted into the nursing program. And so then at this point, the course doesn't satisfy any major or general education requirements. And if the student already has exceeded the allotment of free electives that they're allowed, or if they've already satisfied the general education science requirements, this course ends up in fall through. The frequency with which this occurs points to the need for additional seats in the nursing program, or just efficient off-ramps for those who may want to go into nursing, but ultimately do not. The second is that the course level analysis helps us understand the nuances in how DegreeWorks treats certain transfer rules. An example of this is expository writing. This course is a general education course and should transfer as that. At CUNY, there's general education requirements that students have to take, and when a student transfers, these courses, these gen ed courses, should transfer along with the student. But if the student holds an associate's degree at the time of transfer, DegreeWorks treats this general education requirement as having been met, and so then randomly assigns a subset of the transferred general education courses into fall through. So this means that courses like expository writing, they can show up as frequently being in fall through when really there was no problem with the course transferring. The last type of analysis we were able to observe is the real-time monitoring of transfer students' fall through courses. And so this type of monitoring allows advisors to observe how students are registering for courses. It can have them contact students to suggest adding a minor, changes to their major, swapping a course, etc. Some examples of how this has affected or benefited students in real life are advisors at Lehman were able to help 600 transfer applicants to make changes to their course schedule. And these changes actually increased the number of credits that students could count towards their degree, compared to the initial audit. Students were similarly helped at Brooklyn College. They were contacted by advisors to help make them make changes to their course schedules, which led to an increase in the number of credits. This type of advising also allowed Lehman College's fall through advisor to help 19 students in the fall 2021 cohort become eligible for the New York Tuition Assistance Program financial aid benefits and receive an average award of nearly $1,500. I'm going to now pass it on to Chris, who will talk more about one of our other work streams.
Thank you, Pooja and Martin. So I'm going to walk you through quickly some of the goals and functions of TREX. So first of all, we strive to display organized, searchable, and user-friendly information about how every course at CUNY transfers and applies across every other institution at CUNY. We strive for transparency for students and all other stakeholders by making the equivalencies and the program requirements very public. And we also aim to facilitate ongoing communication and review by faculty by having a user-friendly mechanism by which faculty can communicate about equivalencies, where they can be suggested or existing ones can be validated. So the way it works is that we get our transfer credit equivalency and course catalog information from our SIS, from PeopleSoft, and we pull our degree program requirements from DegreeWorks. We store all of that information in the Lehman database, and then it's refreshed nightly. So if something changes today, by tomorrow, it'll be reflected in TREX. Just really quickly, since we started tracking in May of 2020, we've had over 38,000 unique users access the site over 68,000 times. You could see the average new users per month continues to increase. So this is very much a used website and tool across the university. So enough talk, let's see it in action. Give me one moment while I change my share screen, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of the components of TREX. So as I mentioned, it's a very public website. So explorer.cuny.edu will bring you to this homepage where you can access the main tools that we offer. So what I'm going to walk you through right now is the view course equivalencies. I'll also show you how does this course transfer. And then there's a couple of other up and coming components that that we'll get to. So in the view course equivalency component of the site, you're going to have the opportunity to select any sending college and receiving college. It's a three-step process. So the first one is going to be selecting the sending and the receiving. So for this example, I'm going to choose Queensborough, and then I'm going to say Baruch, Brooklyn, Lehman, and York. In the second part of the three-step process is selecting the disciplines that you're looking to review. So there's this, anytime you see these search boxes across the site, it means that you can click and search for quick and easy filtering. You could see there's a lot of subject areas here, but the student or anyone using the site doesn't have to know. If you just type the word math, you see it narrows it down from 258 to 3. You type the word chemistry, it does the same thing. It finds exactly what you're looking for. For this example, we're going to look at business. So when you tick on the subject area and then go to the next screen, you're presented with all of the equivalencies from Queensborough to those 4 colleges that I selected. So there's 117 possible entries, and there's a couple of options you have on this site. You can show 10 at a time, or if you want, you can show 100 at a time. And as you scroll down, you see it repeat because BU 101 transfers to each of these 4 different colleges. The search box again for quick and easy filtering. So I know that one of the courses I'm interested in is called taxation. So if I type the word taxation, it narrows it down to this BU 108 course. These plus signs will open up information so that you could see sending and receiving course information, including full course catalog, credits, prerequisites. If it satisfies our Gen Ed area, will be shown here. If the course is being currently offered, we link out to our global search so that sections can be reviewed and students can see when they're being offered. So what you could see at a quick glance here is that this course from Queensborough transfers as electives across these 4 different colleges. So if I'm a student deciding between this course and, let's say, business law, if I type the word law, I just narrowed down to my 4 choices. And now I see again these different options and how they're transferred. So another feature I want to point out here is this bookmarking feature. If you're a student or anyone using the site, you can bookmark this equivalency, and you see it adds it up here in the top right corner. And then this bookmarking allows you to share a unique link, generate an email, or save as a PDF. So it's for students to share with advisors, advisors to share with students, or for any other reason you wanted to share an equivalency. So I want to jump into the next component, which you can find here in the tools dropdown. We're continuously adding new things. So if you keep an eye here, there'll be more to come. But how does this course transfer? What this does is take any course across the entire university and allow you to see how that course transfers to every other college. So for this example, I'm going to choose BMCC. I'm going to choose art, and I'm going to choose survey of art history. And I want to see how that course transfers to every other college. So once I submit, I'm shown again the full course information for this, and then the description. And then these are the credits that are given upon transfer. So by expanding any of these areas, you could see the course information underneath. But at a quick glance, a faculty member, an advisor, a student can use this to get a sense of how these courses transfer around the university. The other option on this screen is primarily really helpful for reverse transfer. So if you think about a student that left BMCC before finishing their associate's degree, and the only thing they need is this photography course, they could say it transfers from every other college. And with one click, they're able to see, I could take this course, or this course across CUNY and be able to know that I could go back as that photography course. I'm going to show you one more thing that is still in beta form that we call transfer programs. And this is really exciting because this takes the degree requirements from DegreeWorks and shows them in a structured way so that you could see how a full program will transfer. So in this case, I'm going to say Lehman College, and I'm going to say accounting. So when I press submit, what I'm shown is basically a bulletin entry. So this is the degree requirements that a student would have to follow in order to finish an accounting degree, an accounting Bachelor of Science degree at Lehman. But we've taken it to the next level with Transfer Explorer, and we said, what happens if I'm transferring from Bronx? Now I could see a line-by-line comparison of what courses I should take at Bronx Community College that would transfer to satisfy those degree requirements at Lehman. You can also have comparisons. So if I wanted to add another transfer college and I wanted to say Bronx or Hostos, now I can have multiple columns here where I could see the courses I would need to take at Hostos, the courses I would need to take at Bronx. So there's much more on here. You can use this bubble icon to submit a comment or a question, and we can get right to you. There's also contact information down here for you to reach us. So I just want to switch back to the presentation. Still on the roadmap is continued development of the faculty suggestion interface, integration of non-CUNY transfer course information, as well as integration for credit for prior learning, providing systematic early information and alerts for transfer staff about their intentions and transfer related actions. We want to make even more data available and accessible to help colleges improve the quality of their equivalencies and program requirements, with the ultimate goal of really establishing Transfer Explorer as a one-stop shop for transfer information at CUNY. So that's all for us. Thank you so much for your attention. Martin and Pooja, I don't know if you have any final words, but thank you all so much. And we look forward to hearing from you. Contact us with any questions and have a great conference.